if mOOnGLaDe's not careful, but he's going underground once again, and there's no turret up, so he's not going to be able to see this. Desperately trying to wall off. No scan mana again. He's 9 energy away from being able to scan. These roaches blocking the wall and going into the base. Coming up now, trying to work on these marauders. They are going to do massive damage to these roaches if I'm checking. They're being desperately healed by the medevac. The roaches going underground again. This harassment is just off the charts. mOOnGLaDe is using these roaches so well, considering he's up against a transition into metal here.
Yeah, this is fantastic play by mOOnGLaDe. This Thor is earning his grade now, 12 kills, so if it wasn't for this Thor, this game would have already been over, but great play, and now these siege tanks are in position, and this Thor with these 2 medivacs just lifting it up anytime there's any trouble for it, so really good play by KJH too, but mOOnGLaDe just doing fantastic work with this burrow, and just, you know, I like the fact that, as a good player, he's also expanding while this is happening, so he's just going further and further ahead while he's denying this expansion for KJH. So really, really good play by both players. But I mean, mOOnGLaDe just on the offensive, and like just those roaches with the regen is just doing fantastic work.
Yeah, those tanks able to finally drive mOOnGLaDe out, but in the meantime, he's got another base on. We're seeing KJH try and take the initiative back with the Thor drop on the cliff, but these roaches with the Overlord side taking that Thor out. But it's a trade-off. mOOnGLaDe did lose his expansion that was going down, and that wasn't a cancel. He was actually destroyed. But we are seeing a bunch of roaches still online here, so I don't think KJH can push out. And mOOnGLaDe is picking up this attempt at another expansion from KJH. So I imagine with mOOnGLaDe's map control, he's going to completely deny that. KJH may be thinking he can draw these roaches out and think about some kind of counter move, but he doesn't have too many forces, and his forces right now are very siege tank based, so he's going to have to rely on a very slow move out and be very careful with that. Meanwhile, we're seeing an infestation pit come online for mOOnGLaDe, and mOOnGLaDe's getting pathogen gland upgrade for his infestors, meaning they're going to come out with more energy. So this is really good for mOOnGLaDe. Everything so far really going his way. He's hitting supply cap here, so that's a bit unfortunate, but everything else is really going mOOnGLaDe's way. He's getting his scouting online. He's really in control of the game, and he didn't go completely for the end of the game there. He started to pull his roaches, his new production roaches back, and that worked really well for this Thor harassment. So mOOnGLaDe opting not to try and end the game right here. He knows he did so much damage, and he delayed this expansion and almost took it completely out. So he's got KJH completely on the defensive now, and he's got him contained. He's got this nice map control with his third base coming online. So I expect to see mOOnGLaDe just macro up. We are seeing infestors coming out now, and neural parasite coming online, so we may see some mind control. So we're going to see roaches and mind controlling infestors, which should be entertaining, depending on how many infestors mOOnGLaDe gets out. And they do have that upgrade, so they are spawning with more energy. They're spawning with enough energy to cast fungal growth right off the bat. So this is going to be a very close run thing. Metal does do so much damage to Zerg ground. This many siege tanks is really going to be able to go to work, especially supported by marauders. But with infestors online, if they can get a few key mind controls off on these siege tanks, it could completely shift the battle. So KJH may be able to play his way back in this game because he did transition into metal, but mOOnGLaDe's macro is just so strong right now, and a little bit of cheeky creep going on in the bottom right here, preventing this command center from going down. So KJH is not able to get his third base up anywhere, it seems, and forced to bring in some Marines to deny this Overlord, and then he'll still have to wait for the creep to retreat before he can get his base down. So I'm liking this map control that we're seeing from mOOnGLaDe.
Yeah, he's just really KJH is really in not a great position. He does have all those siege tanks, but they're defensively positioned right now. So, I mean, the longer this goes, just mOOnGLaDe can just, even if he loses his whole army, he can just completely, rebuild them within seconds now, and it's just really, really good play by mOOnGLaDe. He's going to try and do it stylishly now though with these infestors, and we'll see some mind control, which I always love seeing because it's just such a slap in the face to see your own units, your own siege tanks laying in. There is a unit, there is going to be a battle in a second though, with all these siege tanks being completely fungal growth there. So the fight will be pushed back for a couple more seconds. But yeah, I like this play by KJH. He is pushing out to try and make something happen, but it's going to be very, very careful.
Yeah, no medevacs in this composition, so he's able to fungal and run. Catching the Marine Marauder ball a little bit out of position there. Fungal's going off, and nice play there by mOOnGLaDe, but we are seeing KJH being completely aggressive, looking to really push in and end this game before mOOnGLaDe's macro can really take a hold of this game. This Raven, though, overcommitting and going down, so he did lose his Raven, which is a bit unfortunate. It means these roaches are going to be able to burrow if they so choose. more fungal growth going off. Infested Terrans now popping out. A bunch of infested Terrans coming down to get involved. And they're really going to work on these Marauders, and they're the danger to the Roaches. Once the Marauders are out of the play, he can really use his Roaches, but this Roach Hydra ball got so devastated by all these tanks. But once again, mOOnGLaDe's macro kicking out. We are seeing 8 more Hydras and 7 more Roaches on the way, so it's just a case of how much damage KJH can do before they come in. More Infestors coming out and getting involved there, but no, the Roaches do a shoot and scoot. They're just pulling back, waiting for their regeneration kick in. Now these Hydras coming in and taking so much damage from these tanks. KJH still pushing forward, not looking to slow this down at all, pushing forward with this highly damaged tank. I think this tank may go down from the Hydras, and the Roaches sneaking next to these middle tanks. So a little bit of bad positioning there for KJH, despite the fact he's doing so much damage to these Hydras. mOOnGLaDe is keeping them alive with Burrow, and more Roaches going to work. This tank coming down, Hydras popping back up. One tank left for KJH. A bunch of Hydras bunched up, and they're going to take huge damage. The next shot should take out a few of them, but this tank could go down. These Hydras on like 5 hit points, 2 hit points and 6 hit points. They're almost done, but more Roaches coming in. The macro providing the edge there for mOOnGLaDe. His top base is providing these Roaches that are just coming here to sway the difference, and we're just seeing such huge income difference. Already pulling 200 ahead despite the mules that KJH has access to, and we are seeing mOOnGLaDe move out now. One desperate siege tank positioning on the ramp. I like the positioning because he's able to get so much increased range from this tank that was caught a little bit off guard there, and mOOnGLaDe forced to retreat. But mOOnGLaDe's macro at this point is just so huge. He is up to 120 food compared to 83 for KJH. So at this point, with so much map control and forcing KJH to only 3 base as opposed to mOOnGLaDe's 4 base and every other expansion covered, I think mOOnGLaDe's position is pretty good. The only thing is in the upgrade stakes, he's still rocking out 0-0 Hydras and 0-0 Roaches here, which is, at this point in time, you'd like to see some evolution chambers going down and some upgrades coming online, especially with this many Hydras and Roaches.